Hello and welcome to a special edition of Shelby This Week. We look ahead into the new year and learn what officials are planning in Utica Community Schools, Shelby Township, and Macomb County. Stay with us as we discuss all things 2019. Utica Community Schools Superintendent Dr. Christine Johns talks about how UCS plans to continue their successes in the year 2019.
I think it's important to remember that the school year for us actually starts in September. So as we move forward into the new year, into 2019, we're going to continue really our efforts on the recent passing of the bond issue, now to get those projects ready to go, so that we can have those secure entryways, the camera systems, and the other renovations that we promise to our taxpayers in the areas of infrastructure, technology, as well as our buses. Well, the main priority as we started this school year and moving into 2019 is we will continue with our academic focus in the areas of preparing our students for their futures, in terms of their future careers, as well as their preparation for college. So for example, we will continue moving forward with the implementation of the new Stevenson-Made Manufacturing, Automation, Design, and Engineering Academy. We will continue our efforts in the cybersecurity course that we are offering at all 4 of our comprehensive high schools, and the coding K through 12. The reason that's where the jobs are tomorrow, and the fact that we sit in the heart of the automotive industry and defense and healthcare industries, and we will continue to have those offerings for our students. Recently, one of our teachers at Beacon Tree received a grant from Wayne State University for $40,000 to continue the efforts to prepare our teachers so that they are able to deliver the coding classes in our media centers across all 25 elementary schools. We also, as we move into January, we'll get ready to start we're halfway through the year. We'll start the second semester. We also have open to our students those who are residents of the school district who wish to apply for either the Utica Academy of International Studies, the Center for Science and Industry, the Mass Science Technology Center, and Stevenson-Made. That application process is open. As well, I want to encourage all graduating seniors that the application is currently up for the Superintendent Scholarship, which is supported by the Utica Community Schools Foundation for Educational Excellence. Those are $1,000 scholarships, and there'll be approximately 40 of them awarded this year. And then we'll celebrate with our students and the foundation with a dinner to honor them. So we encourage them to apply. They can apply online at uticak12.org, and it's on the front page. We have great teachers. We have strong administrators. We are family-oriented, and it is our academics. That is the #1 reason people come to the Utica Community Schools. And when we say academics, it's also because within our school district, we have lots of choices. Strong academic programs within all of our schools, as well as the choices within those specialty programs. I think the academic performance of our students and their contributions to the community. For example, right now we have over 200 charity drives occurring throughout the district. They are student-driven and student-led, and our students exercise leadership, and they do it through whether it's their sportsmanship in their athletics, whether it's through their fine and performing arts, their musical performances, or their academics. We really do have fine young people. And to couple with those young people, we also have really extraordinary teachers and parents who support our students each and every day. We're very fortunate. I'm looking forward to continue to watch our students develop and grow, and I'm looking forward to really delivering on the promises we made in the bond issue to our families. I mean, you know, it's the one thing is I have a student advisory and I meet with them regularly, and when we hear our students talk about their hopes and dreams for their future, that's the juice that gets me up in the morning, knowing that we are impacting the lives of young people in a positive, productive way.
With an expansion scheduled to be completed this year, 2019 is shaping up to be a big year for Police Chief Robert Shelide and his department.
Police department has a 65-year anniversary this year, 2019. And I can tell you right now, this is going to be our most exciting year we've ever had. Starting with a $3.1 million building expansion, we're adding in 7,100 square feet, and we're also renovating our existing space. And the building was newer. I think it got commissioned in 2012, so around 6 years ago. And they built it during the recession, okay? And they paid cash for it. They did a great job keeping us out of debt and bonds and all that stuff. And we're just growing a little bit too much. We're burgeoning outside the building's walls right now. So I went back and I asked in 2016 for a little bit more space, and the board has been gracious enough to grant us with the space that we need. The showcase of the building is going to be the conference room. We have a 24-seat conference room, and what this is going to allow us to do is to hold regional meetings and regional trainings in the actual room. This is something I'm very proud of. It'll be done by June. Everything is on target right now, and they have everything enclosed in, and I'm really excited about it.
There's little arts and crafts and stuff. What are you making? What was that?
Spin art.
Spin art?
The whole program we're putting in, instilling the values of community policing. Community policing just can't be done by a few guys. It has to be done by everybody in the agency, including the dispatchers, the secretaries, the records clerk. We have to partner with different people, strategic people in the township, business owners, residents, employees, ShelbyTV, whatever it may be, and then give the highest level of customer service when we have the opportunity. One of the big things that I'm very excited about in 2019 is we're giving each one of our police officers body cameras. So every one of my officers out on the street will have a body camera to record everything they do, conversations, action. And what prompted this is the nation is basically going to body cameras. We're one of the last ones sitting out in our area alone. Washington Township has it, Macomb Township has it, Clinton Township has it. They're all getting put in. So now the time is right, and this is something I'm very excited about. Moving on, all of our police officers are going to be getting new handguns. State-of-the-art 6-hour handguns. 6-hour has a reputation of being the best handgun made. We did a study with our top guys, our gun guys. They evaluated several different weapons, and they selected the SIG, which wasn't surprising anybody. They're like the Cadillac of weapons. And just another little caveat for our officers, when people are considering where to get hired, we have the best equipment that money can buy. All of our police vehicles, we buy new police vehicles every year. They're all equipped with patrol rifles. Every officer has his own taser. Every officer has his own brand new radio. And then now we're adding in the new handguns to the police officers, just like a whole combination of excellence, if that makes any sense. And we don't just give them the best equipment. We provide them with the best training also, and the best command and supervision over them. I'm very particular the way the staff is led, if that makes any sense. And I start with my philosophy from the top. We treat everyone with respect and dignity, give their officers their voice, and I've instilled this into my commanders. Another thing we're going to be purchasing in 2019 are 2 Segways. They're like kind of like the stand-up things you might have seen in the movie Mall Cop. And what we did, we start renting them for the fireworks and the art fair and different football games, and the police officers love them. And what we're going to purchase them for is the schools. Our police officers can get up and down at the schools, Utica, Eisenhower, whatever, very quickly. If, God forbid, something happens and they don't have to run to a location and be winded when they get there, they can take their Segway and mow right down the hallways. So they tested them out. They really liked them. The price is reasonable, and we're going to move forward with that purchase in 2019 also. So if you look at the building expansion, the body cameras, the new handguns, the Segways, and I forgot to tell you about our new in-car camera system. The system we have right now is failing. It's a Panasonic system. It's around 10 or 11 years old. Truthfully, I should have replaced it a few years ago. I was trying to be responsible financially, and I have been very responsible. We've come in under budget every single year under my leadership over the last 4 years. The in-car camera system we selected is through a company called Axon, and it's going to be matched up with our body cameras. Everything is going to be tied in together. Everything's going to be tied in together. When the officers get out of the car, if they put their lights on, their body cameras will activate automatically. If a police officer has an interaction with somebody and we have to flag that video, what the system will do, it'll grab everybody's video in the area out of their cars, out of their body cameras. They don't even have to upload it to us. and the system will grab that, if that makes any sense. So, like I said, we've done this very fiscally responsible. There's no new taxes coming up for the residents. I'm keeping our police department under budget, and we're getting all this stuff accomplished. Like I said, 2019 is probably the biggest year we've ever had.
The Shelby Township Fire Department has some exciting things planned, including the grand opening of Station Number 4. Here's Fire Chief Jim Swinkowski with more on what we can expect from the department in the new year.
So some of the things that we will be pushing out in next year is we will be continuing to work with our police department for continued training with some of our paramedic firefighters that are on the rescue task force for the active shooter dangerous situations. That will be gearing up a lot more as we get our equipment and our department gets trained. We will be trying to push out a lot more training with that. We will be doing a lot with public education. We've been getting some requests from businesses about what they call stop the bleed training, which again coincides with active shooter, that they've been bringing out training programs for the average citizens, workers in these workplaces. So we will be rolling that out. We've preliminary got it together with our training and some of our training equipment, but we will be rolling that out a lot more next year, as well as all the rest of our CPR, first aid classes, and all of the other general fire extinguisher classes, things that we already do. So we will be gearing up for our public education to increase that, increase awareness and things like that. And then with our normal training on the river and with our swiftwater dive team, working that's always a big issue. And now, right now, obviously in the beginning of the year with January, February rolling around, we will be making a big push for our ice rescue. It's always a problem, especially come that thaw in the spring. We, typically get a few people falling through the lakes around here in some of these subdivisions. So we will probably be rolling out at the beginning of the year some safety tips for homeowners and all those people that are around all of the lakes. Obviously Station 4 is just replacing the one that's currently there, but this is a long time in the coming, because when I hired in back in 1991, the original master plan that the township had for the fire department did have a station down in the 21 in Shaner area as well as the 25 in Shaner area. And then with the development of things that have happened through the late 90s and early 2000s, Station 4 was built where it currently is at 23 in Shaner, not knowing how the development goes. So it will be a big relief knowing that we finally, after many years, we finally fulfilled that original master plan concept that was probably around since the 70s and 80s to service the needs of the residents. So that would be very important for us to finally achieve that. So we're looking forward to it, and hopefully everything stays on schedule. So we're looking January, February to get that open. Obviously this year's been challenging. We've had a lot of, you're always going to have your unfortunate situations with fire and some of the other, requests for service that go along with it. But the way that things are going now with our department and the training, and we have some newer firefighters that have been on. We have several firefighters that probably have 3 years or less on a department. And so we're just looking forward to continuing their training as they get more specialized training in some of our special teams. And we'll be pushing that out, especially with the public education and some of the classes we do like that. We'll probably start, getting some of these newer people involved now that they're finally settled in the last couple of years with the department and playing a little catch up with the training. But we always like to encourage the newer firefighters to get involved, especially when we do a lot of stuff with the kids and some of the joint, township sponsored events like Yard Fair and Bike Rodeo and things like that. We like to get them involved in it, giving back to the community and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that I always look forward to as chief, is the fun side of our job, getting with the people, giving trainings, meeting with the kids at some of the events we do. So that's some of the stuff that we're looking forward to. Everything changes. No two runs are the same, and we're continuing. There's always new concepts coming out. Like you talk about car accidents, they're always building these cars with plastics and lighter materials, but high tensile steel and some of the stuff that our older tools don't cut with. So we're constantly working on new techniques. There's always different types of foams, things that are coming out to help us extinguish fires quicker, with less water damage and, and just trying to preserve property. So with all the materials and the chemicals and everything that are in these composite materials, we're constantly playing catch up to make sure we are on top of everything, so we know what the industries for all the different manufacturers, whether it's furniture, building materials and things like that, that we're always staying up on the latest techniques, latest tools to make sure we can provide the services that are needed. So it's, day after day, month after month, year after year, we're consistently training and learning new tools and new treatments and medical procedures and stuff like that.
County Executive Mark Hackle started his third term in office, and he, along with other leaders in Macomb County, are excited to see what 2019 brings.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, when we tend to look at where we're at as a county right now, we may be living in the best of times I think the county has ever seen. And I think there's going to be a continuation of that. And why I say that, I mean, not only economic development, the investment here in Macomb County is incredible, but the growth in population, diversity, even, family income levels are on the rise. Educational attainment is on the rise. The value of our homes are on the rise. So a lot is happening, and it's pretty exciting to see. But with that, there's always the challenges. And so, the question becomes, how do we continue, building upon all these good things that are going on, which is what we do as a county, and working with the 27 distinct municipalities that make up Macomb County, including Shelby and Utica and Sterling Heights. But with that, we tend to look at, okay, what are those challenges? Without question, infrastructure. And I say infrastructure because most people always talk about the roads, but that underground is a concern too. So the partnership we've had with Candace Miller from the Public Works Department, trying to figure out what do we need to do there to help solve those problems, but in coordinating it with what we're doing with the road projects. So we work with many municipalities, and most of the issues that they bring about or talk about are roads. It's the above ground stuff. And my job is to try to figure out not how do we fix roads, because we can do that. There isn't any road we can't fix. It's how do we figure out the funding for the roads. And so that match has to be there from local units of government, but there has to be enough money there from the state to provide us the opportunity to construct and rebuild these roads. So infrastructure, without question, is going to be a top priority moving forward. Mental health is an unbelievable challenge that we have here, especially in this county with all the funding cuts we've seen from the state. Substance abuse are somewhat of a concern. Our jail, again, it's too old, it's too small, and too expensive to operate in its current condition. So we have to do something to fix that. And so we've got consultants, they're going to put a price tag on some of this, and then the question becomes, what's the ask? What do we need to do to fix that or change that? So a lot to expect and a lot to see, and I think a lot of it's going to, be relationship based. What do we got as far as our partners in Lansing? The relationship I'm going to be able to have with the governor. And some people say, oh, it's going to be better because she's a Democrat. That's not the issue. I mean, I was able to work very well with the prior governor, and he was a Republican, so it had nothing to do with the RD. It's the willingness to want to work together to solve problems, and obviously, I'm certain this governor, like the last, is going to be focused on what do we do for the third largest county in the state of Michigan, and that's Macomb, to try to help it prosper. And I know I got great working relationships with her already, and we're going to see what we can do to have that influence in Lansing to fix some of our problems here in Macomb County. It's interesting. I tend to look at this whole executive form of government. We're fortunate that the voters decided to do that. I was very much an advocate for it, not wanting to run for it. I loved being the sheriff and still adored that job. Probably in history, when I look back, I absolutely adored that job. This one's a little bit more of a challenge and has been because of areas of interest that I didn't have or didn't understand. Planning, economic development, roads, health and human services. Mine was focused on criminal justice, but getting a better understanding of that, especially over 8 years, and working with what I call the subject matter experts, internal and external. We have people within our government agencies that really understand roads, understand economic development, allowing them to come up with those creative ideas. And I come to realize, the executive job, the real responsibility is pretty much twofold. One is obviously the whole idea about leadership or whatever, but the main focus of that is trying to figure out how do you provide that level of influence on behalf of 870,000 people to get people to really appreciate not only internally what we have here and this pride we have with this place we live in, But what do we need to do to make those connections, whether it's with public officials, public schools, whether it's state government and or federal government? How do we get people to work together to try to figure out how do we solve the people's issues or concerns that they're having here in Macomb County? And the part I really enjoy about it is the marketing aspect. Getting out there and getting people to realize, this, make Macomb your home thing isn't just a four-letter mantra. It's really, what do we do to instill that sense of pride we have here, whether you're living here, whether you're working here, or whether you have a business here, or even want to recreate here. So how do we get people to have that sense of pride about Macomb County? And that marketing aspect of it I absolutely love, because I have that sense of pride, about being a kid who's born and raised here. We should be proud about where we live right now. There are going to be challenges, and I say that because you got to put that on the table. There's always issues. I mentioned the substance abuse, mental health issues, some people looking for job opportunities. But boy, I tell you, right now where we sit, the educational opportunities here in Macomb County are incredible. I mean, the educational institutions, whether it's the public schools, the private schools, Macomb Community College, the partnerships with the universities, we really got a lot to be proud of in that area. Growth and opportunity for jobs. We're at historic highs as far as workforce numbers, 470,000 people in the workforce here. We got probably one of the lowest unemployments we've seen, and probably lower than that in the state and national average, under 4%. Yet there's still 20,000 jobs available in Macomb County alone across all industry sectors. And what does that mean? To somebody sitting at home right now, that either is, unemployed, looking for a job opportunity, or kids that are going to be coming out of high school. Maybe they don't want to go for a 4-year degree. There are opportunities in some incredible job categories that are out there, so we don't have to worry about our kids now moving to other states looking for jobs. We have opportunities right here at home for people to have jobs. So that's something people can look forward to, especially if you're a parent of a kid who's in school, that I think they're getting a good education right now, but also there's a good opportunity to keep them home or close to home with career or job opportunities into the future. That wasn't the case, maybe 2 or 3 decades ago.
Lots of exciting things happening in the township this year. Township Supervisor Rick Stathakis talks all about the important things people can look forward to.
Well, they can expect the same things we've been doing in the past. That is, if we can't afford it, if we can't pay cash, we're not buying it. We're not going to bond, we're not going to borrow. That is one principle that we've been operating on for 10 years, and that will continue. Also, we're going to continue looking at, first and foremost, public safety. If we can enhance that in any kind of way, we will, and we have. As you know, we built a brand new police station in 2016. We're adding to it now. It'll be 25,000 square feet instead of 13 when it's all done. So that'll be done first quarter of next year. We're adding police officers next year. We're adding more fire personnel next year. We've already built 2 brand new fire stations. So we're happy about that, and we are enhancing that as much as possible. So public safety will definitely be a big focus next year, as it always has been. Second thing is finances. We will continue focusing on finances. Yes, we have our capital improvement fund. We have our 5-year forecast. Our 5-year forecast, by the way, looks great. We're ready for a recession if one should come. We're not hoping one will be here, but we're ready if one does arrive earlier than expected. Our finances are solid. And finally, quality of life. A big part of quality of life are roads. And we are continuing to have meetings with Road Commission, and Vince Viviano's doing a great job on that. He's helping us through that process, as to getting some of these roads done. 21 and 22 mile road definitely will be done next year. And we got a host of other road projects that were not done this year because of various reasons, strikes and what have you. But next year it's looking good to get a lot of our projects done. So quality of life, public safety and finances will continue to be our focus in paying cash if we wanted to do any kind of infrastructure. We are, that's just the way we operate. We're very proud of the fact that we are going to have a brand new library. That'll be done sometime in 2020. Our police station will be done sometime first quarter of next year. Our 2 fire stations are completed. The one on Chainer and 25 mile is almost completed. I think it'll be operating sometime in January. And also we've got the police station. That'll be first quarter, maybe second quarter of next year. That'll be completed too. And I want to add, it's all paid for in cash, so we have no debt on that. And we continue to pay down our OPEB, our pension fund, so we're making progress on every front. As far as our top 10 priorities, you're right, we're going to scratch that off. It still is our number one priority. People came in and said, we want to make sure that happens, but we're taking that off the list. That's number one, by the way. Or in our senior center / activity center, the Boys and Girls Club, I think that whole transition is going to be completed sometime by summer of next year, if not before. And that was also our number one priority, so we can take that off. 23-mile capacity is very important. The road capacity on 23 Mile and N53 Strand Road was very successful, getting $2 million that we needed. It came out of the Michigan Economic Fund. So now we're going to be able to spend $2.4 million. I think the Road Commission will be putting in $200,000. We'll be matching that. And I know Pete Lucido was helping all he could. We had various meetings with him too. This is a very crucial intersection. It was a C-. I would say it's down to an F right now. We're going to get it back to a C-. We won't get it much higher than that, because in order to get it higher, we have to expand a bridge, which is about a $20 million project. And it's not going to happen anytime soon. But we are doing what we can do by adding a middle lane and a lane on each side, so the capacity will be increased. And also Shaner Road on 23 Mile Road, on 23 Mile Road from, Shaner Road between 23 and 25. We're looking at expanding that, but we don't know when that's going to happen. That's a federal government. They pay 80% of that, and they're still kind of stalling. And we don't have any definitive answer on that yet, but it's still number 3 on our chart. And I'm looking at the chart, and acquiring campus property is number 4, continuing our regional path system is number 5, continuing our blight enforcement. We're still getting calls from people about blight. Keep those phone calls coming in, because that's the only way we know where the blight is, and we're correcting a lot of that, up and down Van Dyke especially. So we're happy about that. Also improving 23 Mile Road west of Mound. That's number 7. And number 8, centralizing and enhancing our township website, something we've been talking about a lot in the last 2 years. It's going to be done finally in 2019. So that's actually going out for bid, has gone out to bid, and we'll get some results on that and probably be voting on that, I hope, sometime by March or April of next year. In planning for long-term financial obligations, my dream, our dream of this entire board is to make sure that the boards in the future don't have to worry about any of this nonsense. We're slowly getting rid of the long-term debt, and we're making a lot of progress. And finally, participating in local fund improvement funding. We are always, even though it's number 10 on our chart, it is number 1 for us at all times. The money is there. If we could get the county to do their share, their 50%, we'd be doing a lot of projects as soon as it gets warm outside. But the Road Commission doesn't have the money, and the reason they don't have the money is because they're not getting it from the state of Michigan. So the Road Commission and Shelby Township want to do a lot of road projects. When that money starts flowing in from the state of Michigan, you'll be seeing a lot of road projects. And that's one thing that I hope people can call their senators or representatives and get that moving, because that's all it really takes is money, funding from the state to get all this off the ground. So that really kind of finishes it up for the top 10 priorities of 2019.
Thanks for taking a look into 2019 with us here at Shelby This Week. We are looking forward to the brand new year with brand new possibilities. Thank you for a wonderful 2018. We want to wish you and yours a happy new year.